Hey guys, this is PMR Bones 88, and today for my next horror slasher movie review of the Halloween franchises is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. So the returning cast, Donald Pleasence and Danielle Harris, who play as Dr. Loomis and Jamie Lloyd, and they have a new director named Dominique Quinn Jarrett. This movie, this fifth movie, was really kind of in a rush to production. The story plot was really in a rush. You could definitely tell they rushed it too much. And this movie was like straight down to video instead of going into theaters, so I guess now the reason why they did that. So this takes place during the previous Halloween 4, where Michael Myers falls into the pit hole but somehow survives and manages to escape. And where he escaped he was really tired and very weak. He finds a old abandoned warehouse, sees the old man and the annoying talking parrot. At first he tries to kill him, but then he somehow passes out, sleeps into a deep coma for about a year. And 1 year later, that's where Jamie in the clinic hospital, which now she's a mute, and that's where, when everyone thought that she was going to be the killer, she wasn't, and they made her character as a mute. Like, why did they make her as a mute? She couldn't talk or she couldn't speak from her last killing when she killed her mother. And there is also a connection between Jamie and Michael, so somehow wherever he wakes up and she feels it, like now he wakes up from a coma and puts on his mask and regains his strength, and he finally kills the old man that took care of him. Jamie somehow has a seizure attack, or has a seizure. She can't breathe, and the doctors try to save her, open her jugular or her neck so she'd be able to breathe, but then somehow Dr. Loomis shows up and stops her, and says that she will stabilize. Now with Donald Pleasence's performance, where he returns to play as Dr. Loomis again, with his character, he's like now much more aggressive and all insanity, and for his performance, I think he took it a little too far of his own craziness. But I only wish he was only a nice and calmer doctor, not some crazy mad doctor maniac who like goes around trying to fight him. With his performance in the first two, he was much more poetic and much more calmer. But up until the fourth one, he was a tired old man, all beaten down, and he was still burned from during the second one when he tried to kill himself and Michael. And now in the fifth one, he's much more insanity and more crazed and angrier. Jamie's foster sister Rachel, she goes and see she was okay, and then she went home and take a shower, right up until where Michael follows her and then goes into the house and simply all of a sudden just kills her. So Jamie goes out of the window and sees Michael, and she thought that she was going to go into the hospital, like he found her already. So she tries to run away. She goes down the stairs with the laundry room, where everything she sees the shadow. She doesn't know that's Michael. And by the time she goes up and hide, and realized surprisingly it wasn't Michael, it was just it was a janitor that works at the clinic. Then the nurse came out and sees Jamie, asking what she was doing there, and she thought she saw Michael. During the bus scene, where we saw is the guy in the long black coat. It's strange that when he comes down, like, who was it? I always ask myself, who is this guy? Is he Michael Myers' other brother, or his cousin, or somebody that's familiar? We didn't know who the guy in the light blonde coat was, and the strangest was that he had a thorn tattoo on his right arm, just like where Michael Myers has. He has the same thing, the same tattoo, the thorn tattoo. And when I first saw Halloween 5, I kept asking myself, what's with the thorn tattoo? Is it like some sort of a cult that he's joined in, or was it just a regular tattoo? I wasn't really too sure. But all I have to tell, that's where when they made the sixth Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and that's what I'll be talking about soon. But back to Halloween 5, Michael Myers finds a couple of kids getting some beer, and later that night, that's where he messed up with the other guy his name is Michael. So he picked up a rake tool, and somehow he just like scratches his car, and that's where Michael got really pissed off and about to like take his crowbar out. and getting ready to whack at him, but he didn't. He just like simply BAM hits him right in his head. That's like kind of cheesy, but it was a quick second kill from Michael. So he dragged the body, took his car, and that's where he wore the mask just to disguise him. There was a little problem. There was something that didn't really sink in right, where Tina goes and meets up with Michael, but that's really Michael Myers in disguise. Tina says something, but somehow it didn't link up with the audio, where she said, "Nothing, Mike, that's what I get, nothing." Afterwards she says, "Nothing, Mike," she says something else, but somehow it didn't link to. If you guys see mouthing, where she's mouthing something else, mouthing the word, she says something else, but she doesn't say "that's what I get, nothing." Two cops, they were acting like laugh out comedians, and I don't know what's with the circus music going on. I don't know if it's because they're goofy or they're just two couple goofballs. Michael kills off like couple of kids in the barnyard, in the bar scene. That's where he kills them off, where Michael goes into the car and he tries to run over Tina, and then it's all of a sudden where Jamie and her friend Billy goes after them. She tries to get away and avoids all the trees and the woods. And for Michael driving all the cars, and even without a license or a permit, he's pretty a pro driving a car. But afterward, Jamie just was like ducks and dodges the car, and simply boom, boom, where Michael hits the tree. And when he gets out, he was persuading Jamie and about to kill her, but then Tina saves her, and all of a sudden just like forces the knife right into Tina's chest and simply kills her. And almost at the ending scene, where Dr. Loomis finds Jamie and the kids, and they took her back to Michael's old house, where they stood there and wait, and that's where Michael follows them. And Dr. Loomis tries Michael not to kill it anymore. At first, Michael just like gives up and just like realizes what he's doing is wrong. He was about to give the knife to Loomis, but then slashes him and just thrashes him right to the window and right into the stair floors. So Michael continues and goes after Jamie, and Jamie and the other cop, they try to get away before Michael does. But after that, then Jamie runs away and he kills the cop. It just like hunts him down out the window. So where Jamie tries to hide and avoid getting killed by Michael, she goes upstairs, and there was a coffin up there, and that was meant for Jamie. And Michael follows her and gets ready to kill her, right up until that one word she says to him, "Uncle." And that's where Michael stops. Michael takes off his mask, and we don't really see him, but you could definitely see he still have hair. How come he's not all burned to a crisp? I mean, in the second one, he was totally burned. He's supposed to be burned and all deformed and all hideous and disgusting. But clearly, when you see Michael's eye like tearing, like he's like crying. But when Jamie was about to touch him, Michael like backs off and just like goes all crazy, nuts, and throwing the coffin. It's like pissed off, where Dr. Loomis finds Jamie and grabs her and tries to get Michael into a trap. Opens the chain net. He tries to put him down to sleep. He used all these sleeping darts, but that didn't work for him. It just made him even more madder. Dr. Loomis used one of the wood locks and keeps hitting him like a couple of times, goes all nuts and saying, "Die, die!" And after that point, he was starting to feel like he was having a heart attack, and afterward it just hits him, and Michael like knocks down flat, and Dr. Loomis falls down right into him. He's tired, or somehow he was dying with Michael. So that was a great conflict. It was like a conflict between man versus man, man versus himself, or man versus evil. And this is what's only between Loomis and Michael and Jamie. It was in beyond with all the supernatural what was going on. The cops took him into jail and simply chained him up. The sheriff said that he was going to take him to a high security where there's no way he couldn't get out, but by the time they were going to take him there, somehow the man with the long black coat comes out and starts shooting all the cops down, and that's where he frees Michael Myers out, where Jamie just like goes into the station and realizes what happened, and she sees Michael's cell that he's now escaped, and he just screams out, "No!" So after done talking about this movie is okay, but it was so much in a rush. The story was really rushed, and the production was really rushed too, and I only wish they would have done more. They wouldn't just like take their times or wait for Halloween 5 to come in another year, or probably somewhere in the early 90s. But with the performance of Donald Pleasence and Danielle Harris, their performance, they weren't too bad, but I wish they only done better, and I wish Danielle Harris would have made her character Jamie a little more aggressive and not too same and not as a mute as well. So, oh, and also with Michael Myers mask, this time this mask was really new, and it wasn't really like the other Michael Myers mask. This was kind of a new, different kind of a shape mask. It was okay, but the mask was not too bad. So just to rate this movie, I would have to give it a 75 out of 100. It wasn't too bad. It was dark, but the music of it was really darker, and they still used the Halloween theme. And I do have this movie on Blu-ray and DVD, and also on VHS. So the next time for my next horror slasher movie reviews of the continuation of the Halloween franchises is Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. And this is PMR Bones 88 signing off and saying is, peace!